Bruh.
So,
take two. We lost the first recording, so take two. Shout out to Phaser again. Again. It sounds weird saying again because guys don't know the first take, but there was a first take.
There was a first take. Luckily, we didn't get that far in the first take, so it wasn't that bad.
No, we didn't. Alright, welcome back everybody to episode 181 of V-Time. I said that completely differently because, someone messed up the first time.
I'll take the blame for that one.
There we go. But to be fair, with us, it never goes smoothly. Always something goes wrong.
There's always something.
Apologize for the video and audio quality this time around. I'm currently in circumstances that I cannot explain completely, but, you get what you get.
Yeah, exactly.
At least you get to hear Alex's crispy voice.
Crispy. It may be a little bit better. We're going to find out later in post if the obvious sound conditioning, you can't see the rest of it around the room, but might make things a little bit better. Maybe
since they can hear you 10 times better, maybe you should host again.
No. Not for a while, but you got this.
You guys don't know it, but it's super cringe doing the same jokes twice.
It is. It really is.
All right, but without further ado, we got a lot to talk about this episode. We got about 4 new units, a lot of episodes, things we missed from last week time because they dropped after the fact that you already guys knew, but we didn't because we recorded, yada, yada, yada. And a lot of other shit. But before that, go check out this little where to buy cards video.
Oh yes, package for Mr. Top Deck Heroes.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks. Mr. Top Deck Heroes. Mr. Top Deck Heroes, package. Man, another one? What is with this guy? Mr. Top Deck Heroes.
Again. Oh, Meldy again.
Mr. Top Deck Heroes. Package. Oh, God. Thank you. That was heavy. What's in that one?
Oh, trading cards.
Cards? Was every one of them cards?
Yeah.
How can you afford that?
Oh, that's interesting you say that. I got it from the Baseball Fit. Secret.
Man, these people are crazy.
All right. Starting us off right away, let's get a warm-up card before we talk about the big bubbas and the big stuff. Alex, take it away.
We got a new stealth unit, stealth dragon. What did you say his name was again?
For Titan. God damn it. Titan. This is the second time we're reading it. You're messing it up again.
I honestly forgot. Anyways, it's a grade 1 auto rearguard at the end of your turn. This unit, if this unit is on a rearguard with a dragon tree marker, retire this unit. Choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. Why did you have to give me hope, Bushy Road? You gave me a stealth unit and just hidden derp support.
It is derp support, but the one thing to note here is the fact that it does say Dragon Tree marker. Of course, it's great for Gyro support, but at the same time, it only needs 1 Dragon Tree marker. So, potential Dragon Empire Mask?
I mean, there's only 2 that can do it, and more than likely, it's leaning heavily to Eugene, so...
I mean, why else introduce Gantiva if not mask it?
Yeah, we'll see. Right now, there's no main character for Gantiva, and I doubt they're going to show a random character out of the blue to do it. Because,
I mean, the same thing can be said a little bit for Flagberg, because we are speculating if Flagberg's going to get masked.
You're right. But at that point, it's like Eugene would be, because he's part of the whole... They're both part of that whole...
oh, God, Eugene is
team
going
of
to get
people.
masked. Holy shit, Eugene's got to... Oh, my... Okay, if we just take into account all those characters, because you just reminded me they exist... Eugene mask, a lyric that would be a good introduction to a lyrical mask. Heroes mask.
What was the other one?
Was there a Flagberg player in that team?
Yes, there was a Flagberg player. There's also a Barrow player.
Barrow Mask.
There's also the Welstra guy.
I don't think he's gonna get masked. He's gonna get masked, or he's not gonna get masked, and he's gonna just get upgrades to Velstra because he's apparently gonna play an important part here soon.
Yeah, but I can see like Barrow and Flagbird because they were kind of on the sidelines.
Bruh, a lot of good things, interesting to come. But before that, we actually got to talk about the cards we kind of missed, and that's the Omnigruzia support, or basically the whole fucking deck.
Speaking of a brand new character for, out of nowhere, but actually is somewhat relevant.
I know, right? So let's start off with this Evil Eye support straight off the bat with Evil Eye Beast Omina Kitty. Omina Kitty. Omina Kitty. Simple, straightforward starter. Nothing to see here, but this is where the stuff gets interesting because we're going to look at Evil Eye Beast Omina Croak. It's the grade 1 ride line that says Act Vanguard. Once per turn, costs Soul Blast 1. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 grade 3 or greater. Hold up, greater card with Omnigruzio and its card name from among them. Reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. If you did not reveal a card, Soul Charge 2. Did not see this in the first recording. Grade 3 or greater card? Excuse you?
Future proofing.
Bruh, future proofing for a grade 4 Omnigruzio? Future proofing for a grade 10 Omnigruzio?
Anyways, at least this ride line, you can't whiff like you do with the Chaos.
Yes, you can. Bro, you said this for the first time really nicely. First thing to note immediately, this is not a straight Soul Charge 2. It is a Soul Charge 1 technicality because if you whiff, you Soul Blast 1 and then you Soul Charge 2, so overall soul only goes up by 1. It doesn't go up by 2, which as much as you would want to. Other thing that this is just good backup support for Favernil or even the grade 3 budget deck.
Just get rid of the grade 0, put actual higher grades in there.
Yeah. As far as whiffing goes, you said this the first time beautifully. Look at the 5. I don't see any Omnigruzio. I Soul Charge 2. I Soul Charge 2 Omnigruzio.
Yeah.
Now in my luck, that's literally going to happen in the video.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got to move on to the grade 2 Evil Eye Beast Omina Owls.
Oh man, let's just everybody press F in the chat for Estrella's grade 2 or the ride line.
And again, I will rebuttal to I actually like the grade 1 and 2 ride line because they come out and make a 33k column.
But this guarantees you the crit and a draw.
I know. Let's talk about it. Auto, when this unit is placed by Rotting from Evil Eye Beast Omina Crow. Search your deck for up to 1 trigger unit. Put it into your soul and shuffle the deck. If you put a card into soul, draw a card. So, like I said, you can guarantee your crits or draws or fronts or heals, or even technically, if you want to meme and let your opponent not be scared, put the fucking overtrigger in there.
Like, we play fair Vanguard on my turns. I can't stop you from offensive and me, but I can stop you from defensing.
Pretty much. Now, the actual thing, because we already talked about the mask and the normal units very much similar, the more triggers you bind, the more you stop your opponent from gaining power and negating their shield. So it really does come down to which trigger you bind or grab from deck and put the soul first. I am of the honest opinion that either you grab the trigger you have the most, which in this case might be crits, or you grab the trigger that you have the least, which should be either fronts or draws. I'm never grabbing the overtrigger or heal in my case.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why people would, but honestly, the smarter move is to run less of a specific trigger you don't want to run because you need to run all 4 anyways.
Exactly.
And just find the one that you know you want out of your deck so you don't have to worry about it.
I honestly believe it also depends on your hand, because if you see a crit trigger in your hand, you're not getting a crit. It really depends on what you currently have in your hand or what you already have in drop or what you have in aim and so forth. So you grab the thing that you're kind of missing. So if you don't have any crits out, I honestly suggest just grabbing the crit immediately, because 90% of the fucking decks right now run 6 to 8 crits.
Yeah.
So that's the trigger that's going to get triggered the most. So guaranteeing yourself that, negging them 5k shields, so making those triggers all like 10ks, and stopping them from getting defenses is probably the way to go.
Also, the good thing that this happens at grade 2, because, you know, you're going against certain matchups, certain decks like to run favor specific triggers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, if you go against, what deck was it? Soji Doji.
Yeah.
They might be favoring, they're going to be running crits, obviously, but they also might be favoring fronts just for the power in the front row.
Exactly.
So you can, you know, oh, this deck's going to be a front heavy deck like Ezel or something. Let's make sure we go for the front first.
So I'm honestly of the opinion when I build this deck, I'm going to go 7 crit, 2 front, 2 draw, and 4 heal. So I can cover all the bases and have all the triggers.
Mm-hmm.
Like a weird ass rainbow. But why are you binding or technically getting triggers out of your deck? Because you're going to bind them later because we already know the mask unit, but we need to talk about the base unit. Evo I Dragon Omina Gruzio. And again, I will say, is this
excited
beautiful
and
art.
disappointed for this card.
Yeah, and there we go. Let's read about the effect, and then you can rant about your disappointment. Auto,
Exactly.
when this unit is placed on Vanguard, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 card with Omina Gruzio in its card name from, or up to 1 Mask of the Hydrogram from among them, reveal it and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. Act, Vanguard, cost Soul Blast 1. Choose up to 1 trigger unit from your drop, bind it, and until the end of turn, your opponent cannot increase power with the trigger effects of a card with the same trigger outcome as any cards in your bind zone. So, you want to talk about this gripe of yours before I start gushing over it?
Yeah. So I understand that, you know, this is meant to be a Dragon Tree deck. Like, it's a masked deck. But obviously, like, you bring this new ride line, right? And it's like, cool, this thing searches for Dragon Trees. But what happens when we somehow leave the Dragon Tree arc and we're away from Dragon Trees? Like, the base has to do something else, right? Or we're going to get a new grade 3 over this eventually, probably. But I'm like, you couldn't have this thing have its own flair outside of being, like, hardcore, like, straight into mask? If you get what I'm saying.
I kind of
like, it doesn't have any identity when you take the mask away, if that makes sense.
I understand what you're saying. I completely understand what you're saying. Fuck. It's a bad example. I don't think it's a good example, but the only thing I can think of right off the bat is saying, well, what would happen if you take Stride away from Chronojet? It has no identity.
I get that. But I'm just saying, like, I just feel like if they do something outside of mask after mask,
I
like,
mean, look at it this way.
Weird.
Like, look at it this way. It's basically Glendios. The fuck is Glendios gonna do outside of Glendios?
But see, I would understand if this was the boss monster.
He's not though. He's the.
But I know that's the problem.
The best.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not the Dragon Tree Gofagera. It's the thing below it. So I'm like, it feels even weirder.
Look, man, all right.
Anyways, go ahead with your end, because that was my whole rant about it.
I kind of understand what you're saying, because it is kind of feels like, okay, this is the base version. It's supposed to do something more. Like, if you just stay on this, cool, you're shutting off your opponent's trigger powers and trigger powers. That's it. You're just shutting off your opponent's trigger powers. But you're really not doing anything. You're not multi-attacking through the Vanguard. You're just using your rear guards and dirtling.
Mm-hmm.
So I completely get you on that aspect. That's why the mask is it. That's why the mask also negs trigger powers, but also negs trigger shield a little bit. And also binds cards, and also restands, and also puts cards to soul, so you can activate shit like Babetsu and Goemon and other shards you might be able to run. So that's where the Vac is. This is just to get you there faster.
It's just going to be weirdly awkward whenever we move away from mask eventually.
Eventually. But until that happens, we have what we have. So what we have here is basically a Brent Ringer in standard.
Yeah.
So the implication, we already talked about this more with the mask units. So I'm not going to rehash a lot of this stuff, but just being able to stop your opponent from defensive triggering And then also with that, the mask unit being able to stop them from shield valuing. We already know Chronofang did that a lot, and it was very impactful.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, there's nothing new to talk about here for that. The only thing to talk about here is it is so fucking beneficial to keep riding this thing, because you ride this, search, potentially add something. Soul Blast one, bind the trigger. Use the mask, put it in Soul, ride the thing, use its ability, remove this guy from Soul or from drop or wherever he is, bind another one, so you have 2 triggers in this same turn, making them shield, yada yada yada, having multi-attack. If you can ride another one, you search your deck again, potentially deck thing, you Soul Blast the mask, you bind another trigger, you re-ride with the mask, activate Persona Ride, bind another trigger, in 2 turns you've bound 4 triggers. Just like the anime showed.
Yeah.
So overall, this deck shows some consistency, because a lot of the cards just say find the shit. Find the shit.
Yeah. And cards we're going to talk about later is like, well, you're going to feel like you're going to minus with your rear guards and stuff like that, but really you're not. dude,
don't get me started. I have a whole arc to talk about the next few cards. So let's talk about Misery Wing Dragon. You were completely right. It's the grade 2 double rare card from the episode.
Whoa. I want to wait a minute. Stop. Wait a minute. What was that?
Yes, I said you were completely right.
Okay, so for the people watching this video, I had 3 theories in the last video,
and only one of them.
I was wrong on one.
No.
I just want people to know that I was only wrong on one.
Oh no, you were wrong on 2.
2.
What were your 3 theories?
That this thing gained power equal to the number of triggers.
Yeah.
And that Trick Moon was going to get a Varina.
No, that was never a theory. Hold up, that was never a theory last episode. Don't spout bullshit.
Okay, it might not have been last episode, but I did have a theory that it was going to get overdressed.
When? Like a year ago?
If somebody in the comments can find the video, put it there. Otherwise, I'll try to find it myself.
Oh, there we go. So you only had technically 2 theories. So let's say you were 50% correct.
Fine,
and
50% for now.
And I will roast you now a little bit. Being correct about a power gain versus Maggie Mask, bro. Even people in the comments said that aged poorly.
All I know, it aged poorly. But I also have people defending me in Discord saying that I did say I was right about the Trick Star or the Trick Moon.
I need the specific video and specific time code before I say that again.
So at that point, I feel like that balances out at that point.
We'll see. If I can find the video and the time code, we'll see, and I'll talk about it next episode. But for right now, we got to talk about Misery Wing Dragon, the grade 2 double rare 10k. That goes continuous. During your turn, this unit gets power of 5k for each type of trigger icon in your bind zone, which means ultimately he can be a 35k on his own. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then auto. When this unit is placed on rear guard, there are 2 or more type of trigger icons in your bind zone. Cause Soul Blast 2 and draw a card, which honestly in this deck is not going to be hard. Soul Blasting 2 is actually not going to be hard in this deck.
I
What?
I honestly don't think so. I think you actually might have a problem.
Good sir. So if you whip on the ride line, it soul charges you 2, right? Which is technically soul charge 1, but fine. So by the time you ride grade 3, you're going to have 4 cards in soul. Then you're going to soul blast 1 of those, have 3 cards in soul to activate the ability to bind a trigger, yada, yada, yada. But then you're going to put the mask into soul and ride, so you're adding 2 cards into your soul. So when you ride mask, you have 5 cards in your soul. Hell, let's say you remove the Omni Gruzia from your soul out of game to activate the ability, you still have 4 cards in your soul. So you have 4 cards in your soul to work with, and then you Soul Blast 2, draw a card, whatever, and then the Vanguard restands by putting 2 cards into soul. So you're basically refilling that fucking cost every time.
So my 2 arguments with this is, 1, sometimes you might not be putting 2 cards into your soul via Vanguard's effect. Sometimes you might be only putting 1.
Okay, true, but my counter argument to this is re-ride, remask.
Yes. On this, and the second note is, your deck is a Dragon Tree deck, which means you're probably maybe running the Dragon Tree Wretch to search you Dragon Masks, which
And?
also costs a Soul Blast.
Oh no, this is Dark States.
I didn't say, you don't have ways to soul charge. I'm just saying, like, out the gate with just this alone, like, sometimes you might have to add a few cards that help soul charge. Just a few.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to deck building. But overall, Soul Blast 2 to draw a card on Blaze, that sounds fucking good to me.
It is good. Especially
then
when
also-
you don't have to worry about using CB.
Exactly. And also, this is like just a beat stick. Just being able to bind, ride mask, bind again. This is already a 20k on its own. Not to mention that whenever you're masking, you're more likely persona riding, which means he's a 30k already. On his fucking own. On a potentially Dragon Tree marker 35.
I love how every one of these Dragon... We'll get to this when we talk about Maggie, but every one of these Dragon Tree decks hits for like 40 to 50s.
I know,
Like,
right?
they all hit like trucks, man.
I love
it's just,
it. All right.
Oh, it's just basically, it's like, what's your flavor of hitting like a truck?
True. There is one more double rare for Omnigrusia that nobody knew it was coming, and everybody loves it. We got Ruin Collector. It's a grade 1 8k double rare. Alex, you're going to love this fact. The artist is the same artist that did Zorga.
I can see it. Also, never mind what I said earlier. I completely forgot this card's soul charged.
There we go.
I only remember the second effect.
First ability, when this unit is placed on rearguard, you may soul charge 1. So that's one problem already solved. But the second ability is fucking amazing. Continuous rearguard, when this unit would be put into the soul for the cost of the ability of your Vanguard with Omnigruzio in its card name, it can be regarded as putting 2 units. You don't have to put 2 units into your soul. You can just put this guy in restand.
Yep.
2 things to note here. 1, just the minimize cost, so keep more units on board. It's already good. 2, that means you can swing with Vanguard twice. Once boosted with this, and then put this to soul, second attack, and then rear guards, so you don't have to do a weird attack pattern. 3, you can spam bullshit. What do I mean by this? Let's say you have this card right in the back row, and you're running the stupid Jewel Core, Bubetsu, multi-attack combo, right? You put Bubetsu in one column. You put the Dragon Tree grade 1 in the other column. And you're just doing stupid shit. Because you swing with this, put this guy in the soul, do the thing, do the Jewel Core. He goes to soul. Bubetsu sees him going to soul. You counterblast 1, call a new unit to attack. A turn passes. You activate the grade 1 Dragon Tree. You soul blast 2. And choose a grade 1 from your soul and call it a rearguard. You can be either Jewel Core or them again.
Yeah.
And then he goes back into soul. And you activate Bubetsu that stayed on rearguard. That's the beauty about Bubetsu. It doesn't have to go to soul. Something just has to go to soul.
Fair.
Oh, there's so many possibilities in this deck. I fucking love it. But you know what?
Don't you just wish that Star Hulk actually got support? It could have been.
I know, right? There is one card that I'm potentially going to be teching in a 3 of in this deck. Maybe a 2 of, maybe a 3 of, depending on how everything looks. That's going to be the grade. That's going to be the grade 1 triple rare Jewel cycle. Because this deck soul blasts a decent amount already, which means your ride line is going to be out of your soul. Granted, since you're probably moving from game to grade 3, you're going to only be able to activate it once. But just being able to just say, place on rearguard countercharge is going to be very good for this deck.
Any soul charge?
No, it's the grade 1 Jewel.
Oh, the Jewel countercharges. Okay.
Yeah. On place, remove your ride line back into your ride line.
Yeah.
And then it's a rearguard ability is countercharge. So you either use it for shield if you really need it, but I can see it just be used for countercharge. And then if you don't have him, okay, this and another card, please go to soul.
Fair enough.
All right. When my rant's out of the way and done, Alex, your turn.
Yeah. So like I said before, we talked about before, I was wrong.
100%.
It got masked. But it's fine because the game plan still stays of what we're wanting to do. So we got a new grade 3. We got Sylvan Hornbeast King of Calamity, Magnolia Mask. So
Bro,
what does it
name.
do? I know, right? I could just imagine fitting that on the text box.
I did. You used it. Could you read it?
I didn't look at how much you had to cram it in there, honestly. Continuous. This card can only be written on a card with grade 3 with Magnolia in its card name. Continuous Vanguard. During your turn, all of your rear guards on rear guards with Dragon Tree markers can attack from the back row and gain power plus 10k. So that's pretty good, as long as you can make Dragon Tree markers. And then his other effect is Act Vanguard. Once per turn cost, remove a card with Magnolia and its different card name from this unit from your soul hand or drop. And it gets continuous auto Vanguard. When your rear guard attacks Vanguard from the back row, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it until the end of turn.
All right. Disclaimer here is the fact that we already recorded a Maggie Mask. It's going to be coming out soon. Alex, tell me how good, bad, heavy, not heavy. Just talk.
So I know a lot of the community was basically 50-50 split divided. Some people were like, this card sucks, or some people were like, this card is the best thing in the world. This card's okay. It's basically the same thing as having grade 4. The only difference with the grade 4 is that you didn't have to go out of your way to make resources. They didn't get that much power. They gained power, but they gained defensive power, so you have defensive options. This one's the opposite. This one is you get the 6 attacks, but you have a lot of power, but you do and don't have ways of making board. We'll talk about that when we see the other card. But otherwise, you're swinging for at least 25s in the back row. If something's on the Dragon Tree marker, sometimes more, depending if you have a Sorrel or not, because if you're doing the whole mass thing, you need Persona Ride. Sorrel will also give plus 10k to the back row when your Persona Ride turns, so it'll be like 25k to the back row.
25 plus, yeah.
Yeah. So you're going to get your power, which is something that Maggie honestly lacked. In the grade 4 turns, usually you're using her resources to get power. This one, you don't have to use your resources to get power. You just have to get your resources to make markers, which is good and bad because that means most of your deck space, spoiler alert, you're probably running like 7 of each of the Dragon Tree markers, makers.
Well,
just to get your marker.
You can't run 7 of each. You're running 7.
I mean, 7, like a combination of like 3 of one, 4 of the other.
Yeah.
Like 7 total. Just so you can get to your markers, because it's important at this point to make as many markers as possible.
Well, you gotta make 3 markers if you want to even have 6 attacks like every other Magnolia was capable of.
Which, getting to 2 markers is honestly easy. Getting to the 3rd marker, sometimes it's a stretch, or sometimes it's going to take to your 2nd grade 3 turn. Or if your opponent just decides to just give you the CB for some reason, like you'll see in the video, you can just kind of throttle your way there on 1st grade 3 turn, just kind of sweep them out on 1st grade 3 turn.
Who did you play against?
I played against Gandiva, Hector.
I need to run Hector through a fucking course of how to play game.
I'll give you a slight spoiler for anybody here watching this video. One game, Hector, I was at 1 CB, and I had the other card we're going to talk about later. If he would have just left me there, I'd have been like, cool, I have maybe 4 attacks because I only have 2 Dragon Tree markers. But he decided to give me 5 damage. That was the biggest mistake he'd ever made in his life.
Sit down with Hector. Got it. So, speaking of this other card.
Yes. So, we get a support card because every time we get a Dragon Tree card, we get a card that supports it. So, we got Forced Grow Dragon. It's a grade 2 double rare. Auto, when this unit is placed on rear guard, other than the battle phase, that's an important part of this card. If your Vanguard is Sylvan Hornbeast, King of Calamity, Magnolia Mask, cost Counterblast 1, choose a grade 3 or less card from your drop zone up to the number of Dragon Tree markers on your rear guard and call them to rear guard circle. And then auto rear guard, when this unit attacks, you can choose one of your Vanguards with Magnolia in its card name and it gets power plus 5k.
Okay, I have a legit question before you start talking about this card's ups and downs.
Yeah.
Did it really need the second ability?
No. But I'm glad it did, because there's some times that came up.
Okay, so go.
So the fun fact about this card is it says when it's placed on rear guard, other during their battle phase. So it can be during the main phase. It can be anytime. It's always going to happen during the main phase. But the important part
could be during the end phase, yeah.
But the important part is it doesn't say from hand, and it doesn't say a card other than itself. So what you can do is you can start ditching these for your ride lines early game. And as long as you have one res spell, like a spiritual body or some order that does a res, you can res this from your drop, counterblast one. Say you have 2 Dragon Tree markers, because this happened in the video. You can call a random rear guard and another copy of itself, and then its skill will proc and counterblast and call more.
No, that does work, doesn't it?
Because it doesn't say it has to be something other than itself.
Yeah, that does work. It's a lot of fucking CB, but it does work.
It is a lot of CB, but when you're getting board wiped by something like Gandiva, boy, do those counterblasts add up.
Fair enough. Holy shit. Did not think of that.
and also, like, in the magical world where it can happen is if you have, let's say, like 4 Dragon Tree markers, call this down, counterblast 1, make a whole board back from drop.
So I've been seeing this a lot because of Gandiva, of course, and we've been testing Magnolia Mask. And I've been keeping in mind decks like Gandiva because it's running around. Thoughts on putting back Impex?
I honestly, if you're playing Magnolia Mask, you don't have. I'm an honest belief that you do not have that much of a flex spot. You have 2 cards of a flex spot. My build was running 2 of the grade 2 Dragon Tree, 3 of the grade 1 Dragon Tree, 4 of this thing because you want to see it all the time. 2 Mask, 4 Alpin because you need the countercharger, and 3 Sorol because the power boost is really good and you need searchers for Maggie because sometimes you can whiff on your mask and it helps you get there if you don't see it. So that means you only have, outside of PGs and the grade 3, 2 cards to work with. And in my build, I ran the Resentment order, the look at the Soul Blast, to look at the top 3, drop 1 and call it. Because I needed ways to see this card if I didn't already have it in hand, so I can remake a board. That means if they're running Impics, they're not running this, which means that they don't top deck this deep brick.
Could there be an argument made because you are running a Stoichia deck and you do have revive options such as this and the order you just mentioned? You can run less options because you're going to find them sooner or later and then just res them?
I feel like I said before, you're running the Dragon Tree, you're running as many of the Dragon Trees because you need as many as possible. Because even running just 7 ways to make a marker, there were still times I was digging to make them.
But can't you just res them and make them?
You can. Don't get me wrong, you can. But you're also got to remember that you're really running deep into your resources because all those cards counterblast, and the one Wretch always Soul Blast. And you're running Sorol because why not? And it's Soul Blasting.
Yeah, because Sorol's not only a good buffer, but he's also a Maggie Searcher, which means Maggie Mask Searcher.
So you're burning through a lot of your CB and Soul Blast. You really don't have the resources to say, I'm going to drop Alpin to 4, then down to 4, or from 4. You really need that countercharge Soul Charge because it comes up a lot.
Yeah, I can see Alpin at 4. I can definitely see Alpin at 4. I think this card at a 3 could be good. I don't know. I need to see what happens in the video, in all honesty.
You can drop this down to 3, but I really think you need to set a 4. It's just my opinion.
All right. With that being said, however, we can move on to the next couple of cards because, that's not it. There's some commons and rares to be here talked about. As such, for Ketter Sanctus. That is actually the name.
We went from Dragon to Sanctus.
Yep. It's a normal order, a grade 2 normal order that literally just says all of your rear guards get boost until the end of turn. Because, you don't have a set order that does that.
Yeah, I was going to say, why would you run this over the set order?
I can kind of see why, because the set order is still a ditch a card, but it's for the rest of the game. Well, this is just one card to go burr. but at the same time, you got other cards that gain boost already, so it's like, eh.
The only reason I can see you running this is if you're running the order package from set 11, where if you play a normal order, you do things.
I can kind of see it, but who the fuck knows? It's simple, straightforward. Get fucking boost. The next card, however, Generous Flute Angel, is a common grade 1 that says, auto, when this unit is placed on rearguard, if you have a Vanguard Sorcerer Sense card name cost, discard a card from hand. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck, choose a card from hand and put it into hand, and put the rest on the top of your deck. Not bottom, top, just top.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, simple, straightforward. It's a ditch one, look 2, add 1, put 1. So it's like, it's filter. It's filter while knowing what's on top of your deck.
Exactly.
So there's one correction I do want to make about the grade 2 that I just realized. That actually, the grade 2 order that gives all your rearguard boost actually might be ran a lot. Huh? Like a lot.
All right.
What's one problem we've always had with Hexorb?
Too many grade 2s?
Uh-huh.
Fair enough.
What would happen if I just said all my rearguards can boost?
Because I say, like, the set order only gives grade 3s boost, right?
Yep, this thing gives all your rearguards boost.
Okay, then yeah, I can see.
Oh my god! It's not gonna fix the deck, but someone call Hector and tell him he's got a new card to play in Thegria.
Does he have the room?
Bro, he's gonna have to make a room. I've watched that Slaughter versus Ezel. His first grade 3 turn is literally going 10 doesn't hit, 10 doesn't hit, 13.
Fair.
So
also Graham Grace, if you really get with enough higher grades.
And Graham Grace has more enough grade 1s, and Graham Grace is already built to work columns because he's going Persona right board.
Fair.
Thegria really struggled. Hexor really struggled. Solarian does not need it.
No.
Everything else was kind of alright. They didn't really struggle with not being able to boost.
Hey, if you are playing the MLB build that runs the grade 1 and somehow you don't see the grade 1, it goes to the order, can give them boost.
Yeah, but you're going to run the grade 1. No, I honestly do think Hexorb and Thegria are going to fucking love this card. All right.
But we got more cards to talk about than just this.
Exactly. Alex, take away some interesting Dark State shit.
We got Gunsmoke Bullet Rain Colossus. It's a grade 2 auto when this unit is placed on Guardian Circle. Yeah. Cost Soul Blast 2, and this unit gets shield power +5 until the end of that battle for each different type of trigger in your bind zone.
So it can potentially be a 30k shield, but it's also a Soul Blast 2.
Yeah. I mean, if you really need the shield, it's there.
I mean, really I haven't built a deck yet, so I have no clue of space, how it looks. Soul Blast 2 is not essentially going to be a problem. This card just really reminds me of that lyrical song card that says gains 5k for every order in your order zone. And just becomes a decent big shield.
How often did you have other triggers than crit triggers in your bind zone and Estrella?
Yes.
Okay, so you could technically put it there because I don't know how well their soul management is in there.
No. Estrella is very much, this soul is for one thing and one thing only. You go Dirtle.
Fair. You don't have. I don't play Darkseid that much, so that's why I was like, hey, it's an option.
Speaking of which, you did make a good point on something. A lot of these cards, like the grade 2 that gains 5k for every different trigger, and non-play Soul Blast 2 draw a card. That is a generic card that can and probably will be run in Estrella.
True.
So it's like, okay, cool. Now I have a reason to bind this draw trigger and this heal trigger with the grade 1. So I can go Dirtle, Big Bubba.
Big Bubba.
Hey, Big Bubba also draws draws a card.
Fair.
Bro, like,
all right, what else?
We are doing Unica again very soon. Don't worry. I will show you the potential. But until then, there is one more Dark States card.
Yes, we got Demonic Lancer of Flashing Pierce Hagenti.
Yes.
Auto, when this unit is placed on rear guard, if you have a Vanguard with Evil I in its card name, this unit gains power plus 10k until the end of turn. So it's a it's a 5k grade 1, by the way, so it becomes a 15k grade 1.
I mean, it's a 15 grade 1. There's nothing much to talk about it. It's not bad as a booster. It can be an attacker. It's got potential.
Yeah. I mean, and you're going to suck it back into your soul whenever because it's going to be a deck card later.
I really need to see how this deck is going to build, because I can either go for the meme 6 attack deck, or I can build something more consistent, big number columns.
Yeah.
We'll see. Like, that's for Philip and deck building. But until Philip and deck building happens, we need to talk about the new Bastion and his newish support.
Yes. We've got...
So,
go ahead.
You want to take it, or should I?
I'll let you take it. I feel like you have a better understanding of like how Bastion wants to.
After the last time I played him, he screwed me over so many times by ripping 3 drive checks and all triggers. Yeah.
Fair enough. Go ahead.
Knight of Nobility, Azus. He's the grade 2 common that says continuous hand. When a grade 3 card would be revealed from your hand for the cost of your card's ability, this card may be regarded as a revealing a grade 3 card. This means your ride line you can basically now whip and still run grade 2s and 1s in your deck more. As such, it goes auto when this unit is placed on rear guard. If you have a grade 3 Vanguard Bastion in its card name, Counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's rear guards in the same column as this unit and put it on the bottom of the deck. So about deck effect on top of that for a CB. Not bad, but that CB will be used for other things. Now, this trend of being able to supplement your costs for your ride lines, which forced you to play a shit ton of grade 3s, is going to be starting to be reversed a little bit with this support. As such, we're going to look at our grade 3, Grundur Edge Dragon. He's a grade 3 double rare. And, yeah, he's going to be
this card's
brand
really
in my opinion.
This card's really good.
Yeah. He goes continuous hand. When a grade 3 card would be revealed from your hand for the cost of your card's ability, this card may be regarded as revealing 2 cards. So you can really run less grade 3s in Bastion finally. And then continuous Rearguard Guardian Circle. If you have a Vanguard Bastion in its card name, this unit gets Power 10k, making it a 23k attacker, and Shield 10k, making it 10k shield that is also active during your opponent's turn. This card is a fucking package for Bastion. That ability enabler, big number attacker, shield!
Yeah. The important one, shield. But also, fun fact about this card, because we'll talk about this later, but Bastion gives 5k, the new Bastion will give power to the front row also. That means this is going to be a 28k on your opponent's turn sitting on rear guard that can't be hit by effects.
Yeah, so magic numbers can't be hit by effects. Can't intercept, sadly. That would have been a nice cherry on top. But you know what?
Yeah.
You take what you can get.
Exactly.
Now let's actually talk about Sword of All People, Bastion Accord.
Also, I love how this got the blaster blade treatment of is based on the sword has the name, not the unit.
Yes. So this art is fucking phenomenal, first off. And then the ability is basically an upgrade of everything that old Bastions struggled to do and said, nah fam, just play a normal deck finally. Because we got, first, Continuous Vanguard. This unit is also regarded as Apex Road Bastion, basically enabling you to Persona Ride and activate your Ride Line Grade 2's abilities without worries. So there's that part. Second ability, Continuous Vanguard. All your Grade 3 or greater front row rearguards cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects and get power 5k that's active during your opponent's turn as well. Such as Alex said, they stay on board and they're basically 18 to 28k bodies that cannot be touched by abilities. They can be attacked still, but hey, got attacking into an 18 or a 28. Good luck with that.
That's a big number to swing into.
And then the last ability that's the best quality of life change. Auto Vanguard, at the end of the battle that this unit attacked, choose one of your grade 3 or less rearguards, stand it, and if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, it gets auto rearguard once per turn. When this unit attacks, cause counterblast 1, discard a card with Bash in its card name from hand, and this unit performs drive checks until the end of that battle. This ability is until the end of turn. Bruh,
So-
the fuck?
So you no longer have to discard for the restand.
Nope.
You only discard
You don't
if you
have
want to drive check, which
You
I
don't have to
understand why.
reveal a grade 3 on the drive check to get the restand.
Yeah, you just gain a restand, and it's
Yeah,
grade 3
this-
or less.
Yeah, so
So
this
you
is a
technically-
guarantee for attack deck.
Yeah, so you can technically run grade 2s in your rear guards now because it says grade 3 or less rear guards and restand it. Don't know
But the-
why you would do that, but I mean you can.
To be fair, you probably want to run still a decent amount of grade 3s because the grade 3s are good. Alden is still good. The grade 3 could recover was still good. And if your opponent's grade 3 and you have that extra bastion, either because you drew into it or you use the owl promo or whatever have you, grade 3 with drive checks, twin drive, 4 drive checks in a turn with 4 attacks. Yes, please.
Mhm.
Overall, just goodness. Fun stuff.
Fun stuff.
Anyway, let's skip that now. Get back on track. Get back to the reality, like Bastion.
Yeah,
New Bastion's
reality of
really
the card,
cool.
Bastion.
New card, really good. But that's there. We need to talk about other cards like Maggie support for Magnolia Mask.
Yes. We got Sylvan Hornbeast Lepko. It's a grade 1 auto drop when your Sylvan Hornbeast King of Calamity Magnolia Mask is placed on Vanguard. You may call this card to rear guard, and if you called, it gets power plus 5k, becoming a 13k. So even more ways to get units on your board.
So, Alex,
Mhm.
you realize you can make a Stoicheia deck where you place Maggie Mask, Persona or whatever. Maple comes out, grade 1 Maple comes out, this thing comes out, more copies of this can come out, the grade 3 Crow Dragon comes out.
You know what's funny? When I read this card, I was thinking, technically, if I wanted to and I wanted to cut rear guards to fit this in, I could fit this in, and instead of running Resentment, I run Tearful Malice, and you kill these with Tearful Malice, and then you ride Masks.
Yeah.
So you get the counter charge that you need for your mask to make the markers, and the soul, and you get these back out of your drop.
Yeah. Bro, you can legitimately make a Maggie mask that just says, I place Maggie, I get bored.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you have the markers, Magnolia is going to carry the weight. That's all.
I mean, look at it this way. This thing on a marker with Magnolia's effect, and let's not talk about back row persona riding, right? This is a 28k attacker on its own.
Yeah. Actually,
Think about that.
this is a 28. Yeah, you're right.
Think about that. But that's not the only card Maggie got. I honestly think you should be running this somewhere.
Yeah, this is also good in all of the mass decks, not just Maggie, but Wandering Loyalty. It's a grade 2 auto when this unit is auto rear guard at the end of your turn. If this unit is on a rear guard with a Dragon Tree marker, you can cost retire this unit to choose a grade 3 or greater card from your drop and put it into your hand.
It doesn't say mask. It doesn't say Maggie. It just says grade 3 or greater unit card.
No,
So it
doesn't
can
even
be
say
any.
Oh, it does say unit card. Never mind.
Bro.
I was gonna say like you could use this in Zorga, get a card, but it says unit.
Yeah. It's still.
But
I can
they
see
get your
a.
persona rights back.
Yeah, correct. I can see a Magnolia Mask deck that runs this in Alpin and then Impex and whatever other grade 3 great cards to basically where every turn you're just doing this Dirtle shindig. I'm going to retire this, get my Maggie Mask. Alpin counter charge. I have only 3 rear guards. Impex is active. Next turn, rewrite, do bullshit, do this again. Just, keep emptying board, making board, impact, control.
You know what the funny part about this card is? Guess where this is even funner in?
Leonor Mask. Oh,
Because it's a grade 3 or greater, so you can grab your grade 10s from your drop in Persona Reds.
Fucking finally. Overall, this card has a lot of potential for a lot of the masks. Cannot say the same thing for this next one, though.
No. This is Thriving Dragon. It's a grade 3. I mean, you could grab this back with the card, but auto rearguard. When this unit attack hits, call up to 1 plant token to rearguard at rest.
Bruh, this is the biggest filler card I've ever seen them make.
The only card deck I can think of where this is good in is Granfia, because
it can swing
turn into a gauge.
Sure.
It will turn into a gauge, but
I mean, sure, it exactly has to. I don't know, man.
You're probably never
simple,
gonna run
straightforward on hit, make a rest token of that. Like, let's not talk about that. That's not spice.
Yeah,
this is spice.
Oh boy! So episode happened,
and we got a new Overdress unit,
but not what you think,
and not for Nirvana. We got Veilord. And yes, you can see from the art, not audio listeners, I'll just tell you, he's blue. He is the Overdress of Trick Moon.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Verena, now we got Veilord.
I want to make this joke. I put it in our group chat, but I want to make this joke here. Man, these new Devil May Cry devil forms for Virgil and Dante look really cool, man.
Bruh. Let's actually talk about what his ability does. He's a grade 1 8K. And he's the last triple rare next to Gravidia Mask. Spoiler for the episode that we're going to get. But Overdress on Trick Moon. Simple, straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
This is where all the other Verenas pale in comparison.
Why can't this be as good? This effect needs to be on every single Verena. Everyone. Every single one of them. I don't care.
Vils has it.
I want to hear it.
Continuous rearguard. This unit cannot be chosen by opponent's card effects. Just said, Trickman, I like that ability. Let me fucking copy it. And that's not where it ends. Auto, when this unit is placed on rearguard by Overdress, arm cards from your hand or drop sorry, I completely misread. Choose up to a total of 2 arm cards from hand or drop. Arm 1 card from among them to your Vanguard and put the rest into your soul. And that's not where it ends. Dress boost. Auto rearguard, when this unit in the Overdress state boosts, all of your front row units get power 5 until the end of turn for each card your Vanguard is armed with. Mini Persona Ride!
So, in a magical Christmas land that you have 3 of these in the back row, some magical fucking reason. You swing rear guard plus in the front row. You swing rear guard plus in the front row. You swing Vanguard, another plus in the front row, so your Vanguard has an extra 30.
I probably swing with 1 rear guards last, so it's like 10, 20, 30, but yes.
Yeah. But that also, requires you to have 3 Trick Moons and all 3 of them being overdressed, so that's like 6 cards.
That's technically not hard, because it's easy to get your grade 1s out of drop and countercharge, and then once you overdress, unless they have specific removal, this card's never leaving the board.
You're not wrong. Also, I have a theory.
Which is?
So, you can agree with me that every time we look at Overdress, is going some over-the-top way of making you go out of your way to make the Overdress unit, right?
Yeah.
Calm down. We're going to get a crossover dress one with Veilord and Verena.
I can see that. I can completely see that.
Because it's still Dragon Empire. It doesn't say you can't run this in freaking Nirvana.
Also, there's one thing to note here. This is an Overdress unit. You can technically Expecta over this.
You can.
You can run Expecta in Basagara now.
Nobody expects they expect.
Hey man, if you got the CB for it, Basagara is double critical, and then Expecta swinging double critical for a big number. You only got 3 attacks, make the most of them.
Trick Moon does countercharge you. You'll have the counter blast. So
exactly.
Using this one.
Overall, it's going to be very interesting to see and build this Basagara deck again. Connor's going to have some work on his hands.
And spoiler alert, we know we're getting 2 new arms.
Yes. One of them is an axe and one of them is a mace.
One of them is forces your opponent to guard with 2 or more somehow, and the other one retires a rear guard.
Yes. More specifics? Got no clue.
Yeah, but that's the basics. We'll probably see more Tuesday when we see the actual cards.
Exactly. But we only got a little bit more news to talk about before we do. If you're interested in any of these cards when they do release and you're buying from TCG Player, please do use the affiliate link down below when you buy.
Yeah, because if you use that link, it helps support the channel so we can bring more videos like this straight to you guys.
And with that, like I said, just a couple of things to talk about. One of which is the fact that we finally know what the Manga Collab arts for set 12 are going to be. Just a reminder, on screen you have those arts again. We talked about them not too long ago. But now we finally have confirmation on what those units are actually going to be. So if we go from left to right, first off, we also have technically the full names. We have Drag Ritter Guzvin. That's going to be the Dragon Empire one. And he will be Meteor Flare Dragon.
Hey man, that card needed a reprint. It was starting to get up there.
Oh yeah. Then when we go to Dark Stage, we have Inferno Lover Cadulis. And she will be imitating or be having the effect of Clean Sweep Dragon.
Nifty.
Don't worry, this is not the only dragon cards that are going to get waifu'd.
Yeah.
Brent
Gates.
Gates.
That's actually kind of funny.
Yep, Brent Gates Moonlit Angel, and this art still gets me, is actually going to be Detonation Monster Bobomane.
Bobomane now has the foot fetish.
Bruh, you know for a fact if we get these in English, everybody's going to want to get this for any deck that runs Bobomane.
You're not wrong. I guess see it now.
But we got to move on to Ketter with Magic of Scripture Kukulip. And she will be imitating Wayward Therapy Angel.
Wayward Therapy. That's the one when you discard it, you can call it back, right?
Yep, discard Soul Blast, call it back. Hey, potential. That can be used in other decks.
You're right. Depending on how Luard's worded, it could be used in Luard.
And then last but not least, Stoicheas is probably the biggest shock in this community we've ever seen. We got Elegance Flower Maiden, Lucalia.
And it's not a flower maiden.
No, this gorgeous flower elegant art is none other than Roaming Prison Dragon.
Yeah,
Waifu Beam Activate.
Waifu Beam Activate. Jesus Christ.
Holy shit, man. I want more of these manga arts. Because I just want to see what they pick and what they waifu.
Yeah. I will say that I wish there was I don't know if it's me. Maybe it's just me. But I like the variety of different art styles from set 11s. This one seems like they're closer in art style.
They're still different manga artists, but yes, I can see what you mean. They do start resembling a little. Like the Dragon Empire one is the most different one out of all of them, but the other ones are like decently close. You can see the different art styles if you really look at the details, but on a first glance, they look very familiar.
Like Greedon and Fort Tales arts were way different, in my opinion, than the rest.
Okay, but those artists do also manga that are way different.
I get that, yeah, but I'm saying like it's nice to see the different art styles in one set than seeing the similar art styles in one set. If that makes sense.
Fair enough. Like if you look at all these, Dragon Empire Dark States completely stand out, but I do gotta admit, Brankgate, Ketter, and Stoicheia kind of blend a little bit together. Not too much. I can still see the different styles, but
exactly
not too far apart, sadly. Anywho, moving on to more news. We did get through the Japanese promotional video for set 13, a sneak peek at the Verena for set 13, and not the effect, but the grade at least, and we know it's going to be a grade 3.
Also the name, because I think that matters a lot.
Does it? We already knew the name.
No, we knew it was Strata Verena, but we didn't know the full name. The full name
true.
actually gives some insight.
What is the full name?
Again,
I got it in front of me, but I was hoping you would be prepared.
I'm not that prepared. I know we're going to cover that.
Blaze Divine Sword Equip Strawverina, sorry.
So I think this is the first Varina form with the word divine in it.
Does it matter?
It could mean that this is supposed to be like a final form or like a godly form.
That could make sense with where the anime and how the next couple of sets are looking, because we are also getting a youth bird that literally does look like a final form.
Yeah.
So I can see that.
Like the fact that this is a divine sword is like, okay.
Last overdress you know we're ever going to get? Probably never.
No, probably never. But
all right.
It could tell you the power level of this card.
So, last bit of news at the time of this recording, at least. Bushido Championship Series is slowly creeping up. We have dates for America, but please fucking send dates for Europe already. We're getting anxious. We do not have dates for Europe. Yeah. But we did get some information, and that is the entry participation sleeves. We already know the entry participation promo packs we're going to be getting in the promos. We already covered those. But we're also getting entry participation sleeves, and each format is going to get their own sleeves. For standard, it's going to be sleeves of Rika. For V Premium, it's going to be sleeves of... Help.
Michu?
Nope.
What?
The Leonardo girl.
Oh, Aurora. I think it's...
There we go, Aurora. And for Premium, it's going to be sleeves of... Blanking.
Michu.
There we go. As for Weiss, it's going to be Guilty Gear, which is awesome, actually.
I'm a little upset about this. I'm happy we're getting sleeves, but I'm mad that we should have gotten these in the trial decks like Japan and not have to go to an event to get them.
I'm a little bit more pissed that I have to play Premium to get them.
Also, I'm a little upset that these are these going to be a full 50 card pack of sleeves, or are they going to be a Ride Line 4 pack?
I'm pretty sure it's a Ride Line pack, because I'm pretty sure they're not going to hand out 50 sleeves per event where people show up at hundreds.
It even makes me even more mad, because I think in the trial decks in Japan, they got 50 of these in the trial deck.
Well, we'll only one way to find out. Ain't that right?
Yep. Got to participate.
But with that being said, we're going to end this episode here, because there's not much more to talk about. Next week, on the Tuesday and the Wednesday stream, we will be seeing... They usually post these both together, but oh well, this time they did not. 1 sec, I need to scroll. Do you remember what we're going to be seeing next Tuesday?
I know in the episode we're seeing Maggie versus Bruce, so probably nothing from the anime. I think we're seeing... Vanguard. We're seeing a new Vanguard.
So...
And support cards.
Looking back... They're revealing 6 cards for, set 12, as well as cards shown in the anime. So, more likely, it's going to be the Gravidia support and anything else that's kind of left over.
Yes.
But the Thursday stream, this is where you kind of jumped the gun a little bit, they will be starting revealing set 13 cards, and one of them will be Vanguard, as well as some more Desire Devil support.
Yes. Honestly, I really hope the Desire Devil support's really good, because...
I have a prediction now. Shit.
Because they got all that card for Greed on Mask, but we never got a actual support, mask support card in there. So it has to be supporting the mask.
So I might be pulling a you. This prediction, I am honestly, even myself, considering 80% wrong.
Oh?
So why would they give an evolution in set 12 of a card from set 9? It's 3 sets apart. Why would they give it an evolution that's on par, like, let's say, Jahiva, Bruce, Bastion, all those cards, right?
Yeah.
I think Vanguard Mask is coming.
We shall see. But then again, the character was all about trying to oppose that organization.
Hey man, there's a lot of characters apparently opposing that organization and are somehow getting masked.
I mean, look at the freaking Mega Bean. She was like, yeah, I really don't like that you're doing this to Aurora and my friends, and then joins them anyways.
Yeah.
So you never know. It could happen.
I honestly think I'm 80% wrong on this, but that little 20% of me is thinking we're getting Vanguard mask.
I mean,
hey man, they got brain gauge shit to find mask units. I wouldn't be surprised.
You're not wrong.
But with that actually being said, we're going to end this episode here. So everybody, thank you so much for watching and listening to episode 181 of Veep Time. If you liked the episode, please like, share it with your friends, comment down below what you think the new Vanguard is going to be, what the desired level support is, or whatever else Set 13 might have in store for us. But if you like what we do here, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell to get notified, maybe even become a member to get some awesome perks. But with all that being said, I've been Phil.
This is Alex.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.
Woo! Bruh.
Hold on a minute. I gotta get the thumbnail for this.
I don't want to know. Approve.